Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Say Less Basketball podcast, ladies and gentlemen. You are currently listening to episode 26. Joined here with, as always, the squad, myself, Zach, Mohammed, Will. We got some off-season talks this week. A lot of the draft happened this week, and then there was some trade, some Woj bombs, if you will, some Shams bombs, if you will, as well.
Soon to be Say Less bombs.
Say less bombs, yeah. We have multiple sources covering all the off-season.
Our sources are perfect. They're
immaculate.
You can't beat them.
Exactly.
Facts.
Yeah, facts. We'll talk about the draft first. So the Pistons obviously selected Cade Cunningham with the first overall pick, and then we posted a graphic on Instagram showcasing all of the top 10,
8 or top 10, something like that.
all of the top 10, top 8, I think.
I think it was the top 8, yeah.
The Cade Cunningham went to the Pistons. The Rockets took Jalen Green. The Cavaliers took Evan Mobley. The Raptors took Scotty Barnes. Jalen Suggs went to the Magic. Josh Giddey went to the Thunder. Jonathan Kuminga went to the Warriors. And Franz Wagner went to the Magic. And then the Bulls got Ayo from Illinois, which is nice. And then they got Moody also as well.
Yes, sir.
So we're all Bulls fans, I guess. I mean,
you sure about that?
My credibility has been debated multiple times on the podcast, but I know where I stand. I know what teams I'm a fan of. So, gentlemen, do you have any thoughts on? I think the Ayo trade is personally a steal for the Bulls. I think he's a great player.
They didn't trade it. I don't think.
Pick, you mean, pick. Bro? It's a pick.
I meant to say pick.
Some Bulls fan, bro.
Say pick. Sorry.
Yikes.
I came up with I've showcased the Bulls merch before, so.
I got the.
saying.
Shoot, that's not Bulls gear.
I'm not wearing it right now, obviously, but rocking the Def Leppard shirt. But, any thoughts? Any? It's not as big of a draft, if you will, as it was in previous years. There was the Zion draft and then the Lonzo draft too, but this is still
you talking about in terms of household names?
It's in terms of hype.
In terms of hype, it's not really that up there. But there's
I'm pretty sure Jalen Green was pretty hyped up.
There's still great picks here though.
But nothing was like Zion, bro. Zion was probably the biggest since LeBron in terms of hype. Because that man was doing like 360 windmills in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Getting folks to pull up.
Everybody saw his high school tape.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Right, yeah.
We all knew.
But, do you guys know some of these guys pretty well, or do you follow them at all?
No, I don't.
Most of I know the Bulls players well, and then most of the top picks, but outside of that, I'm not the biggest.
Okay.
I'm familiar with Cade, but other than that, not really.
What's your thoughts on Cade? Do you guys think he's the best player in terms of potential, physique, all that stuff? Did you agree with the Pistons taking him number 1?
I think I don't know. I mean, it's not really a hype draft, so I don't really know much about college basketball, but I know of Cade Cunningham, and he's certainly the most recognizable, I think, out of this draft. So I don't know. And the Pistons have been struggling recently, and I know he was adamant about getting on that team and helping them out. So I think he's the best player in the draft. Yeah. Decision.
I think it was interesting. I heard the commentators or whoever. I don't know how those 4 people got selected for the draft. I was so upset by that. I couldn't believe it.
The guy on I forgot, he's the one sitting next to Kendrick Perkins.
Yeah,
he's always does college sports.
Yeah, there were just the rest. Perk just ruined it for me. But they said that the Pistons haven't drafted an All-Star since Drummond, so it's been like 10 years or something. I can't remember how many years. I texted it to you guys in our chat. Now they've drafted players that have become All-Stars, but they weren't on the Pistons. So history is, repeating itself. It doesn't look good for Cade Cunningham. However, the Pistons have virtually nothing. I mean, their team is horrible. I mean, it's really bad. So this is a good pick, in my opinion, for the number one because he's a guard, but he's kind of like a LeBron or KD in terms of height, but he plays that he can kind of play that point guard leading your offense role.
Right. Yeah.
Which is not a bad place to start if that's how they're starting. Basically the point is I think he's a good building block. I think they could build nicely around him. But I don't honestly trust the Pistons organization. I just don't at all. But I don't think he's the best player in this draft. And I don't know too much about college basketball, but just from the little bit that I've watched and what hype I've heard, I would say Jalen Green. But that's just me.
That. Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not like a college basketball fanatic. So.
Yeah, but you never know. I mean, I feel like recent drafts, at least, like the first two players, there's always the assumption that the first player is going to be better, and then sometimes the second player is really, really good and consistent,
I feel like it's almost better to get drafted middle of the pack.
Yeah.
Just in the sense of like middle of the pack players, you can find some gems down there. I mean, we got Donovan Mitchell, Michael Porter Jr.,
Giannis.
Hero.
Giannis.
I know Hero. I know
the
Hero
list goes.
I know Hero was drafted like the same spot that Mitchell was drafted, I think.
Yeah, so the list goes on and on, but you're then probably not going to a garbage team. I mean, that I feel like where you get drafted matters a little bit, just in terms of like your career, obviously your career success.
Yeah.
Not everybody can be LeBron and bring a team out of nothing.
Yeah.
I mean,
they would even predict. A lot of there's that clip of I don't know who it was, but the Cavs player saying, "Oh, I don't really think you can bring a."
Oh yeah.
And make
Boozer, Miles, and then, a lot of his teammates were just no confidence in him. It's pretty bogus.
The Pacers,
but
they just thought he wasn't as good as some guys, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But like you guys said, I felt like Cade and Jalen Green are definitely the top two. Just because it's a guard lead right now. And they're both, Cade is 6'8", Jalen Green's like 6'7", 6'6", so they kind of prototype of what teams want these days. I was just reading pros and cons according to draft scouts and stuff like that.
The Mel Kiper of
Cade's he's a good shot creator. He's a good passer. He can shoot. So he's basically what every team needs these days. His cons are, just regular stuff, turnovers. He's not really a physical guy, so finishing traffic is apparently a problem. But I feel like that's the turnover thing is, if you're going to have the ball in your hands with the Pistons especially, that's going to be a known thing. Jalen Green, basically the same thing, just his shot selection is not as good. So he's kind of like all over the place. Versatility, he's not really like a ball handler. He's more of a Devin Booker, type player. Donovan Mitchell, he's a good shot creator. So, if he's going to be paired up in Houston, John Wall's a perfect point guard for him. But apparently John Wall's not going to be staying in Houston. So they did draft Josh Christopher out of Arizona State. I think like the 20-something pick, but a lot of people are saying that they thought Houston won the draft because of the 3 picks they had. Third guy was
24th.
Yeah, the third guy was somebody else. It was some tall.
That was the third guy. Usman Garuba was the second. They had back-to-back picks. So
okay.
Didn't matter.
So so I don't know. I know Josh Christopher. I don't know much, but I do know of him. But I felt like Jalen Green, Josh Christopher, Usman, whatever his name is pretty good picks. I did want to ask you guys, do you guys feel like the Raptors picked the wrong guy? because a lot of people thought they would get Jalen Suggs, but they got Scotty Barnes.
Yeah, that was really.
Hmm.
I was surprised by that.
Because if you talk about prospects, Jalen Suggs is he's in the field of Cade and Jalen Green. He's basically their type of build.
Isn't Jalen Suggs a point guard? He's a point guard, right?
He's a point guard, yeah.
Yeah. That was the only kind of justification I could use for it is maybe they really think Van Vliet is their guy. But then it's like
he is, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But I can see Van Vliet leaving, or if they fail again, like if they I shouldn't say fail. If they underperform next season, I could see them getting rid of Van Vliet or something, or clearing house.
Well, Van Vliet can play the 2 guard. I mean, they could do a combo guard.
Yeah.
That's what they did with Lowry and Van Vliet.
Yeah, I don't understand their pick. I don't know too much about Scotty Barnes. I from what I read and stuff and have seen, he just seems like a good like an all-around player. And here's the reason I'm optimistic for the Raptors is because I trust the Raptors organization in terms of development and just having a direction. So I would have agreed with Jalen Suggs probably even maybe over Evan Mobley. But I trust what the Raptors are doing. I just trust their organization more.
They do.
Now, can we talk about him though to the Magic? I have a question for you guys on that end. Why do you think the Magic drafted him? Do you think how do you think they roll out that kind of lineup?
Well, it would be him, Markelle, and then they also have Cole Anthony, which is
exactly. But they just drafted Cole Anthony, so I'm like,
that is true. Wow.
I was kind of surprised. I was like, do you think they're going to move one of those guys? Because they've been moving a lot of players, but
I wouldn't be surprised, especially maybe they think those two will be better than Markelle, so they probably want to move Markelle. But didn't he sign an extension with them? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Markelle Fultz.
That's fun. I can't remember.
Cole Anthony obviously is on his rookie contract, and Jalen Suggs would be on his. Maybe they'll do something like the Raptors and have 2.
He just signed a 3-year, $50 million extension.
Okay, so he's gonna be there.
Oh, did the Pistons also get Garza?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's overrated, so.
Oh wow! To
me.
Oh, okay.
To me, he's a college player, not a.
They also got Thor.
What's the lowest? I'm looking at draft grades on the CBS right now. They gave. I'm trying to see who got the lowest grade, but I can't find it.
But Will, do you think they're gonna play all 3 of those guys together, or do you think they're gonna move off somebody?
One of them has to go to the bench, right? And I would assume that would be something.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like maybe one of those guys are more of a shooting guard than a point guard. My guess would probably be Markelle.
Yeah, Jalen Suggs is electrifying to me. Markelle, I don't know. I guess maybe he has shown the ability to really run an offense, but I don't know. Jalen Suggs I think he's got a lot of hype. Yeah. And it's kind of like a fresh kind of start. They know what Markelle Fultz is at this point. They know what he can be. So they could be more comfortable moving him to another position and being like, okay, we know you can do this here. Give us this. Let's let this younger dude Jalen Suggs can score. That man can score.
Facts.
So, and he can shoot. And let's just face it, while Markelle has gotten better at shooting, it is at least a flaw in his game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I could see that. But the issue for me was Cole Anthony. Like if you draft him last year, that's why this pick to me was a little weird. The other end of it was Mohamed Zach I was like, it's almost like he was too good to pass up on.
Yeah.
Like the fact that Jalen Suggs fell to 5, and maybe that's actually where he should have been picked, over you could argue 3, 4, 5, I think, but maybe it was just, he's too good to not pick.
Yeah.
Even if we already have.
Yeah, it's true.
because sometimes that's what happens. Players just get drafted because they're that good, and you can move them later, or you go through training camp, see how it develops, and then you don't like it, trade them or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That Raptors pick is interesting because Scotty's basically like a Siakam in terms of like position and how they're built.
Oh, wow.
So maybe the Raptors are, like what's it called? Didn't the 76ers ask for basically their whole core for Ben Simmons, right? And then obviously the Raptors rejected it. So, and there's been reports from
They
us
did the same
that,
thing to the Warriors, right?
Yeah, they did the same thing with the Warriors. Yeah.
Yep.
So, but there've been reports the past like 2 months that the Raptors would like to trade Siakam. So maybe they think they'll get Siakam out of there. So maybe that's why they went for Scotty instead of Jalen Suggs.
Man, that proposed trade for Kyle Lowry, Van Vliet, OG, and the 4th overall pick for
that's
rejected. That's oh my God, bro. We called it. We
much.
were all talking about it, and they rejected that. They're valuing him way too high. They're acting like nobody saw the playoffs. Like, come on. Like, come on.
We'll get into that later. I want to ask you, Zach, though, since you're kind of our Warriors guy. What did you think of them drafting Jonathan Kuminga?
Kuminga.
And I mean, I feel like he's a beast. I think there was a lot of hype around it. I haven't seen too much backlash about it, so I think it's a good pick.
Do you know anything about Kuminga? I don't know anything about him.
I don't, but
I think they compared him to, he's like a Draymond Green kind of player. I think. I could be wrong.
Good for him.
Let me just glance over this stuff. He's listed as 6'8", and his wingspan is 6'11", so he's long. I don't know. You can look up the player comparison. I thought it was Draymond, but
somebody said that they're very
okay.
A blockbuster trade this year too.
So he played in G League with Jalen Green. That was his team.
Oh yeah, right. I forgot he played in the G League. Yeah, he was dominating in the G League apparently. So
so his strengths are basically physical, athletic, self-creation, shot making, defensive tools.
I think that's
so. Great. Yeah, he does sound like
that's a great pick. I think. I think drafting players from the G League is very underrated. Because I think it's a good move because they're playing against like talent that I think is a step level up or a step up from the college level. And those guys all want, and those guys are everyone in the G League is fighting for a spot on the NBA roster, fighting for attention.
Right.
So I think it's a great pick.
Well, him and Jalen are basically like the first two like known like guys to be drafted. So maybe there's a trend that follows after them. His weaknesses are his shooting and decision making.
Sounds like Draymond. Yeah. Sounds like Draymond.
So, maybe they're drafting his replacement too.
They're definitely not getting Simmons this year, though. That's for sure. Because they're not trading away that pick. And they're not trading away this. They're not going to trade away Wiggins. I don't think it's going to happen because the Simmons. They're just asking too much for Simmons. You know what I mean?
I can't remember. Were you guys arguing that the Warriors were going to make a big trade before the draft?
I thought they would.
Yeah, but then the Raptors are asking. The Sixers are asking too much for Simmons, so I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I had no faith in the Warriors making a move. I was confident they would. I
don't think they can get Dame either. I think Dame's going to be a lot to ask for. I do think
Well, Dame is. I'd do that trade for Dame over Ben Simmons if I was the Warriors.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Because
if they offered the same package, if they asked for the same package from the Warriors, you take that trade in a second. For you don't even think twice.
Well, yeah.
As Mohammed said, you're salivating. He's salivating.
Yeah.
What you guys think about our very own Chicago Bulls? 2 picks in the draft.
Pretty nice. I think Ayo is a steal.
I couldn't believe he fell to the second round. I really couldn't. Look at that. 7 picks into the second round, he fell. Or 8 picks. No, 7. So a lot of people said a lot of scouts had him at a first-round pick. A lot of projections was for him to go to Lakers at 21 or 22. So for him to drop 16 spots is that's amazing. That's crazy though. Our very own hometown kid being drafted to the Bulls now. That's crazy.
I'm not gonna knock on wood, but the last 2 times we drafted hometown players, shit. Oh yeah, we didn't draft Jabari. Okay, so yeah, the last 2 times we drafted hometown players, they turned out to be
really good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Really good.
Yeah. I hope his play in the tournament is not how he plays.
Well, it's relaxed. It's just one stage of his basketball career. Okay,
It's literally one game. Literally one game.
One stage of his basketball career. It's fine. He's being coached by Billy Donovan. He has Zach LaVine. He has the 6 banners above his head. He will live up to that hype. Okay, he's straight, man. He's straight.
All right, bet.
Got it.
I bet. All right, I see you.
But
well, okay.
I mean, so do you guys like how he fits into the team? What do you guys think he'll be kind of placed into in terms of lineup?
Point
Second
guard
unit,
role,
first
right?
unit.
He's got to be a point guard role, or no? He could do a shooting guard role.
He
I
could
guess.
do. I mean, him and Kobe are basically. I think they're kind of the same. Like
That's
build.
what I was thinking. The first thing I
Yeah.
thought of was like they just drafted the same player in a way.
Right.
He also is a junior,
Yeah.
so he's got some development.
He does have development,
maturity.
Mm-hmm. And he got a better every year. From freshman to junior year at Illinois. But he's improved scorer. He's a heady passer. I don't know what heady passer means, but he's blossomed into a massive offensive role. And he's a good open court scorer, playing the ball more frequently than he did as a sophomore. So
dude really averaged 20 points a game. That's insane. That's wild. 20 points his last season.
Yeah, he took a huge leap. He went from Purdue scoring by 4 points.
Yeah.
And he increased his rebound and assists. So
I mean, you can make the argument he's the main reason Illinois suddenly had
that's why they let
a good college basketball team, even though they melted down in the tournament.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. To another fellow Illinois college.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised he fell that low.
Well, I would be curious. We need to look up what's the steal of the draft, because this might be it.
Carney Sovas, the man himself, said that he thinks Ayo's toughness fits with the Bulls.
Facts.
And Ayo said he knows he's a first-round talent. So I like the confidence.
Facts.
I like the confidence there.
Mentality's very good. Yes, sir.
Still, how does he fit with the team, though?
Yeah, mentality is really.
I think.
Yeah.
I was
gonna say mentality. I think with draft, I think is
wow.
In a way that is so important, because you can have a player that's like, oh, I don't want to really go to that team, but since he's a hometown guy, I think that
does a lot.
I know in the NFL side of things with Mitch really wanted to go to Cleveland and be the hero and the savior there, and he went to Chicago instead.
And then uttered the worst possible phrase he could have uttered immediately.
Yep. And then I think that the fact that he is going to this team, and then the Bulls are a storied franchise. They're one of the most recognizable NBA franchises. I think that plays a part in the mental aspect, and then having somebody back you up, having a big executive or a big front office guy or whatever you want to call it, like Carney Sovas. I think
AK.
And then they got Billy Donovan too. I'm sure Billy Donovan is welcoming with open arms with Ayo. And then I think I like I was reading a lot of sometimes you'll go on like social media or whatever after the draft, after a pick, and they'll just roast them. Like they say, it was like with Kristaps going to the Knicks, they roasted him. They were on him. So disappointed, and then it didn't really work out, obviously. In the worst.
I mean, he did end up being a good player, but
he eventually left because of he just didn't like the New York spotlight, I think.
Yeah.
He wanted to go somewhere else. But
I think it might also help having the hometown, like obviously like you said, the hometown, but the crowd's gonna, instead of needing to like earn the crowd,
right.
Yeah,
he's gonna have it immediately. Everybody's gonna love it.
The fan support is gonna be through the roof for him.
That's great.
And then the fact that his friends and family are all gonna be there, people he grew up with, people he's known his whole life, they're gonna be in the same, space as him,
Yeah.
I think it'd be good for him too. Because a lot of these guys, they grow up in New Jersey and then get drafted to Sacramento, and they can't bring everybody with them sometimes, especially as rookies. So,
Right.
yeah, I think that'd be good for his development. But
Bulls got to get rid of. They got to get rid of Laurie, man. If they can get rid of Laurie, I'll be
they what's called they opted into his contract, so now he's a restricted free agent, so they can do a sign and trade for him now.
They opted into his contract, or he opted?
They opted into it. I don't know the exact words, but they did something to.
No, I know what you mean. That means he had a team option.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not too sure why. I'm not sure about all that. Like, why would you do that? I don't really know. I guess what they were thinking, because from what I understand, if you have a team option, the team can either have you opt in, right?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Actually, you know what? There might be. I have two theories. If the team opts you in, right, then they get to keep you, right, for that last year and whatever, which is what they did, or they can elect not to. And I think then you become a restricted free agent. And what happens is a team can try and get you, and then you can match them, right? And then if you match it, then you get them automatically. My question would be, why would you opt in? The only reason I could think you opt in is if you think you're going to get some valuable assets back for him in the trade, which they must think that.
Apparently there's been they're saying that there's a lot of teams that are interested in him, so that's why they opted in.
Oh, okay.
So for a rookie contract, for a team option, it grants the original team the right to keep a player for another year. So if a player has a 3-year contract with the option for the fourth, that means if it's exercised by the team, the contract extends through the fourth season. So that's why.
Yeah, but what happens if they opt out? Because I'm not sure if I know for a fact you're a restricted free agent. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they have to pick up the contract if nobody signs them. That wouldn't make sense to me, right? That doesn't make sense.
If they decline the offer, then they enter free agency, right?
Right. Yeah, but they're a restricted free agent, I think. I don't know. Just ignore me. I'm stupid.
It says a restricted free agent can sign an offer sheet with any team, but the player's original team can retain him by matching the terms of that offer. The original team is said to have the right of first refusal.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, following the fourth year of rookie scale contracts for former first-round draft picks.
Okay. That's interesting. But I think we are kind of moving on. We're going to move on here though, and because this is a good segue into the trades that have been happening. Unless you gentlemen have any final thoughts on the draft.
I want to say, I just want to.
What did you see? Who the steal of the draft was? Did you find out?
No, I didn't. I saw that the Nets had some of the biggest steals, but that was just because their roster is already stacked. So the fact that they got any kind of viable player was
right.
And then Steph Curry was apparently the biggest loser in the draft, which I guess was strictly because they didn't make a trade. So
yeah,
I'm not sure I really buy that.
But we'll see what happens. The draft is interesting. This draft is interesting because there's not a lot of household names, but we could see a lot of great players make significant impact on teams.
Yeah, according to a lot of experts, it's a deep draft. So let's see how deep it gets the next 2 years.
We'll see, though. But moving on to interesting trades. Recently, we were just talking off the podcast about Tristan Thompson. So he was in a 3-way deal with the Kings. So the Celtics dealt him to the Kings.
Yeah.
Then the Kings traded DeLon Wright to Atlanta. Yeah. And then, Bruno Fernando went to the Celtics, something like that. And I think Chris Dunn went to Atlanta too. There's a lot of One thing I want to say right off the bat.
Chris Dunn's on the Celtics, just so you know.
Okay, so on the Celtics. Okay, yeah. So sorry, these three team trades are a little bit crazy. But right off the bat, why do the Kings keep signing centers, man? I swear to God, they have so many damn centers. They have way too many
You
big
see their
men.
owner.
What the hell are they doing, fam? What the hell are they doing?
I wanna say this
I
really
saw
quick
that. I said,
before.
like, Sacramento's acquiring Tristan Thompson. They have Hassan. They have Richaun Holmes. They don't need Tristan Thompson, bro.
Bro, Hassan's the
They're
greatest
setting
center in
themselves
the
up for
league, right?
failure. Oh my God, according to Jack Novelli, the graphic designer. Jack is
Yeah.
not the editor. I am the editor of the podcast. Some people,
That's facts.
some
That's
people think
facts.
he is the editor. No, I edit the things. The only
Wait,
thing
who
is,
says he's the editor, bro?
I've
That
heard,
can only be your friend group, bro.
I've heard other people say, "Oh, he's the editor." Jack put it in his bio
Or it could be his parents.
on his Instagram. On Jack's
You might tell him
Instagram.
that.
Can you let me speak? You just keep interrupting me.
I can't hear
On
you,
his-
bro. You're
on his-
lagging out for me.
On his Instagram, he said that he was the editor, but then he changed it. He's the graphic designer, but okay, I edit the episodes. Just want to clear that up. And Jack probably not even going to listen to this, so he's not going to know that I said that, so it's fine. But I don't know why the Kings keep drafting big men. They have too many big men. And then DeLon Wright is a great contributor for the Kings, and he stepped up on his role. He was on my fantasy team, helped him get to the championship. And a lot of people hated on that pick I took home. He's like, well, I got to hate on the power rankings, but
he wasn't even on the Kings at the start of the year.
I know, but you still hated on you still destroyed me. You're like, what is this DeLon Wright pick? I don't know. I don't think it's gonna happen. Then, I don't need to say anything else. But I don't know why they did that. I think it's, and then I guess Richaun Holmes might leave in free agency. So there's that, but he still hasn't left yet. So you don't know.
Yeah, he wants like an $80 million contract. So, we have to see if the Kings wants to pay him. I think he's a good player. He's a really good player. If you guys don't know.
Yeah,
inflation's insane. There's no way he should get paid 80 million. I know that that's like the going rate for his talent now, but
yeah,
that's insane to me.
He was hooping.
I know he was good. I'm not denying that, but like 80 million feels.
So
next,
you guys think DeLon Wright to the Hawks is a good trade?
I mean, I feel like he fits on their roster. I feel like they need like a good garbage man, if you will, like somebody who does everything. You know what I mean? I remember people used to say Otto Porter.
Wow.
I remember I used to say Otto Porter was I've seen an article before. They said Otto Porter is a garbage man because he does like everything. But
that's a very good way to describe someone's contributions.
I don't know. It's kind of whack because you call him a garbage man. It's not really flattering.
For real.
He gets rebounds, steals, he gets blocks. I mean, points. He can score too. So I think having that person on any team is a contributor. I think the Hawks need that, especially with Trae Young, leaning on Trae Young a lot. And then I think that's going to balance them out with, with their nice big one with Capella and Collins, and then they have Trae, and then they have DeLon Wright. I think that can be a decent squad, well balanced. I think I said last week something about the Hawks finishing really well. I think they'll still finish well after this trade.
You said, what was it? Top four, top three, or something.
I needed to rework that. I remember I said like.
I think you said they were going to be fourth, and then you had the Celtics number one, the Sixers, and then the Bucks, the Nets.
That was bad.
Oh Lord,
no Bucks, the team that just won the championship.
I think the Bucks will finish. I think the Bucks will finish first.
Dude, it's okay. Think about it.
I think the Nets will finish second. I know the Celtics and the Hawks are going to be in there somewhere because.
Anyways, back to.
Yeah, sorry. I got off topic talk. Yeah, sorry.
Will, I remember how you said during the playoffs we had this big thing about when Trae Young goes to the bench, they don't have another floor general playmaking point guard to help because they were just running through Bogdan or Kevin Huerter.
Yeah.
They had Chris Dunn, but they barely played him because he's more of a defensive piece than an actual point guard. Yeah. So DeLon Wright, when he was on the Raptors, he was a pretty good off the bench player. He was
on the Pistons.
Pretty good on the Pistons, on the Mavericks, and then he was on the Kings. I didn't see him play a lot on the Kings, but Zach obviously said he was on fantasy team and did pretty good. So I think he's a good player, but I just don't think maybe he can't help Trae Young off the bench with his playmaking and stuff. So I think it's a good trade, but at the same time, I still feel like they're gonna have those problems that Will talked about, and especially in the playoffs. With Trae Young goes to the bench, Bogdan and Kevin Huerter, they're pretty good players, but they're not guys that you would want them to run the whole offense for 10 straight possessions. They wouldn't be able, to really uplift the team like Trae Young does. But it's pretty good. Chris Dunn to the Celtics, and then also Bruno Fernando and a second-round pick is what the Celtics got out of the trade. Chris Dunn, I'm a big fan, especially after what he did with the Bulls. He should have been all defensive second team for sure. He was top 10 in a lot of advanced metrics and defensive stats that season, 2 seasons ago. And he didn't get any respect. He didn't get respect from the media. He didn't get respect from players, no respect from fans, nobody. Okay? The Bulls should have kept him, but they put him to the Hawks and pissed me off, but it's all
Say
good.
it louder. Say it louder for the people in the back, Muhammad. Say it louder for the people in the back.
Crazy, man. He just gets disrespected. So I hope the Celtics utilize him because he's a pretty good defensive player. And I think if they're going to have Marcus Smart running the point guard duties like we talked about, Chris Dunn would probably be a good player to help ease off the defensive pressure that Marcus Smart gets all the time. So, and then we talked about Tristan Thompson. So,
yeah.
But Will, I mean, before you left, remember you said about the whole point guard issues off the bench for the Hawks?
DeLon Wright helps that a lot, in my opinion, because he can score himself. Yeah, and they don't have the Hawks. I don't think.
Yeah, DeLon.
I don't think they literally have anybody who can score on their team by themselves. Bogdan, maybe.
I mean, Bogdan, Kevin Huerter,
Kevin Huerter is more like of a catch and shoot kind of guy.
No, that's Bogdan. Kevin Huerter. Did you watch him against the Bucks in the?
Yes, I know that.
He was the only one that could create his own shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and Wright's not consistent. Wright's not a consistent scorer, but he will on some nights put up like the 20-point games, right?
Yeah.
So if
he doesn't,
right,
he doesn't need to score though. I mean, he can score a little. Like give him like 8 to 10 a game. They just need somebody else that teams are gonna respect enough to play defense on, or to think, oh, okay, Trae Young's on the bench, they can still kind of run an offense here. Because without Trae Young, bro, they look lost. But I know you guys talked about this. I'm sorry, but this getting rid of Tristan Thompson makes no sense to me. It really just makes no sense. I don't know. I know we talked about it. You said earlier it's a guard league, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I mean, what are the Celtics doing? Who do they have now? Like real,
just Robert Williams and.
Robert Williams isn't even that big a big man, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, he plays really really good defense.
I know Tristan Thompson isn't a big man either, but in terms of like height, I think he's shorter, or maybe he's 6'11". I can't remember, but
he's like 6'10".
Oh, okay, so he's up there, but he's not like huge. But he's a grinder. That man, like you said earlier, Zach, I'm gonna use your term because I know Tristan watches this, and I don't want him thinking I'm saying this about him. But he's a garbage man. That man does everything nobody else wants to do, and he's really good at it. I mean, against the Nets, bro. The one game the Celtics won was heavily because of Tristan Thompson.
Yep,
heavily, because all he did was out hustle and outwork everybody, kind of like Giannis did in the finals and pretty much his whole career. Like, that's all he does. He just outworks everybody. So I don't understand why you get rid of him. But on the plus side, that would be a good pickup for the Hawks, especially if Holmes ends up leaving. I think the Kings. I think the Kings don't need the scoring big man really. So I think Tristan could fit well there.
Yeah.
They even with their draft, they got some more wing scorers. I think, and dude, I just believe in De'Aaron Fox. I just believe in that man.
Guy.
I'm just saying. I just believe in that man.
It's my guy.
All right. Man. I just believe in him. So I kind of like it for the Kings, but Celtics, you get the L in this, in my opinion.
It's okay. So I know, like how we said, like they don't have any big men, and they traded away one of the biggest big men. And then I looked up the draft results, and I was looking at the Celtics drafting anybody, and they had only one pick in the second round, and they drafted a guard out of France. So maybe they're trying to do a Houston Rockets small ball type thing.
I don't know.
Danny Ainge stepped down, and the whole team just starts going to turmoil.
Yeah. I will say one thing. I will say all these big men talks, all these, it will be interesting with all the Celtics losing a big man and then the Warriors trying to sign a big man. It'll be interesting to see where Andre Drummond ends up signing. I think Drummond has some underrated value because some people, he was on the Lakers and some people hated on him a lot. But I think he's very undervalued. I think he can make a significant impact on a team that needs a big man. The Heat are rumored to sign him. Miami Heat are rumored to sign him, but we'll see what happens. But we have one more.
No. I gotta say something real quick.
Okay.
Real quick.
Go ahead. Real quick.
Because the Celtics made another move, getting Josh Richardson.
Yeah.
It's literally the same thing, bro. Now they have 4.
Right.
Josh Richardson's a good defender, bro, and
he's
a good scorer. But they have 4 guys that do the same exact thing. Jaylen Brown is more versatile than all of them. I get that, but essentially, you got 4 guys that play the same position, in my opinion. Chris Dunn, maybe not as point guard, but so I just Celtics are kind of confusing right now. But.
We'll see. Yeah. Any
Sorry, Zach.
But we have one more massive trade, the blockbuster trade that everyone's been talking about that blew up Twitter, blew up Instagram, and that is the Lakers acquiring Russell Westbrook. So Lakers sent Kuzma, Caldwell Pope, and Harrell and the 22 pick in 2021 to the Wizards, and then the Wizards sent Russ and a 2024 and 2028 second round picks to the Lakers. We posted this on Instagram too, posted on Twitter. It was blowing up, and a lot of people are hating on it. I think this makes the Lakers title favorites. I think, no doubt about it, I think this team will destroy the Brooklyn Nets. Matter of fact, I'm going to say it right now, Lakers in 4. The Lakers will sweep the Nets in the finals.
So not only are you making a prediction, you're making like 3 different predictions right there, right?
Right down the
Lakers will win the finals over the Nets, and they will sweep them in 4 games. That's my prediction
right there. You got 3 predictions.
That's my prediction right there. I think that's my big prediction. Because
are you writing it down? Because we need to make sure.
I don't have my notes with me.
No, it's fine. I can write it down.
It doesn't matter, bro. We're not forgetting this one. He said in the chat too. So
Lakers in 4, right?
Lakers in 4.
And what else?
Well, obviously that means that the Nets are getting to the finals, and the Lakers are getting to the finals.
That's it.
Lakers in 4 over the Nets. Yeah,
that's it.
That's it.
Okay. Let me just put that down.
I don't care that Russell Westbrook can't shoot because Harden can't shoot in the playoffs. Kyrie probably won't even be in the playoffs, and the rest have to do everything again, and he's not going to make it. I don't think the Nets will even make it to the finals, as a matter of fact. I don't think the Nets will make it to the finals.
Is that another prediction?
That's another prediction.
Make it to the finals.
Hey, Lakers over Nets in 4, but the Nets aren't making the finals. There we go.
It don't matter who's making the finals. Lakers are sweeping them, I think.
Okay, so Lakers in 4 over
statement to say. There you go. That's a little less asinine.
So Zach, you don't see a problem with spacing?
Okay, well, I think they have to add a shooter. I think they will get somebody. Obviously, I think they'll get a shooter to space everything out, like a 2 guard or another guard, something like that, or a forward, somebody that can shoot. I think they'll get. I think LeBron isn't going to let that happen. He needs to have somebody they can kick out to and knock down shots. I don't know who. Right. I don't know who that is. I think they can find somebody. But Kuzma and Pope weren't making any shots. Harrell was barely playing enough, was not playing like valuable minutes. I think he could have played way more minutes. I think this is a steal because Russ he's going to make more shots, I think, than Kuzma and Pope, and probably contribute more than Harrell. I mean, he's going to play a lot of minutes. I know there might be spacing issues, but if they add somebody on the shooting, on somebody on a wing that can make shots, I think that's going to be great for them. But this is an absolute steal, I think, because Russ is, a top, you could argue top 10, top 15. He's certainly up there. He's an all-star caliber player every single year. He was in the MVP race, I think, last year. I mean, he helped the Wizards get into the playoff hunt, even though they eventually lost, but he still managed to let that team crawl back, even after all the injuries. We talked about the many injuries that the Wizards faced last year. who was the center that you had on your fantasy team, Will, that went
Thomas
down?
Bryant
Thomas Bryant went down, right? They lost. They didn't. There was
really went down. They
there weren't
lost.
a lot of expectations for him, and then Russ went off that second half of the season, I think, as he always does, and he willed them back to a playoff spot. So, and then what one thing I just thought of right now is that the Lakers really like slowed down in the second half of the season last season because of the injuries, but Russ always, as time after time, I think really speeds it up like that second half of the season. He gets
Yeah.
really good for that stretch for some reason. I don't know that like
Mhm.
March April time period he goes off and everybody it's like an endless cycle. I've seen like
But
weird news about
playoffs.
this about him getting really big there and then he's underrated and then he gets into the playoffs and then they lose and then they overrate him and then he's overrated
dude.
again and then the cycle continues. We'll see how this plays out with the Lakers, but I think this is a massive. Everybody's talking about spacing and Russ's can't be the main ball handler because it's LeBron. I think they'll be able to work it out. I think they'll add a shooter. I don't see any problems with this. I think this is a massive steal because Kuzma was trash. Pope was not really that good, and Harrell wasn't playing valuable minutes. So, that's my take. I kind of ranted there for a little bit. Sorry, I took a page out of Will's book.
No, dude, I appreciate it.
But
you're
I
giving Will a
respect
lot
it.
of ammunition.
that's fine.
Will,
I like giving. I don't care if I'm wrong. It'll make for good.
I'm not being wrong. You're just saying a lot of things all over the place.
I haven't really been wrong in a while. So I predicted
All right,
the
bro.
Bucks in
A lot of
seven.
confidence.
I predicted the Bucks in 7 trade. I'm in the Bucks in 7 thing. I predicted the Nets would miss the finals. I'm on a roll here. We're just gonna keep.
Well, at least this time you predicted that the Nets are gonna have injuries again this year. Because if you would, I would have respected that
I
pick
didn't
a
say
lot
they're
more
gonna have
too.
it. I didn't say they.
You said
Yeah, you said Kyrie won't even be playing, so that means he's hurt. I'm assuming, or he'll be traded.
I said he probably won't even be playing. He's not gonna be.
Well,
hurt.
what does that mean? He's dead? Are you saying he's
gonna
dead?
He's gonna have some kind of mental health, I think, and he's gonna be gone.
Nah, dude, he's got to say.
That's still technically going to be injury report.
Yeah,
on injury report.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Okay, before you go, because I know you have a lot to say, I'm just going to give my 2 cents in real quick.
3, make it 3.
That was loud there. My God.
Obviously, Russ wanted to leave, and the Lakers wanted to get a point guard, so I felt like it wasn't a fair trade. But then again, the value of the trade was super low because obviously Russ wanted to leave. To me, like I saw a report that they met with LeBron and AD met and said, "Hey, let's put our egos aside to win a title." So I guess this was like a pre-planned thing. The fit doesn't make sense, but at the same time, it is LeBron. So I do trust him to get Russ to fit in with the team, even though I don't think it's going to be a great fit. I think it's good enough to go through the West because I don't see anybody else stopping them. I would say the Clippers, but we have to see if Kawhi wants to come back, late April, 5 games before the playoffs or something like that. I doubt he would, but we'd have to see. But other than that, I don't see the Nuggets stopping them. I don't see the Suns stopping them. I don't see the Warriors, especially they don't get a third star. They're not stopping them for sure.
Definitely not, no.
That's just my thoughts. Obviously, Russ likes to play with the fast pace, and LeBron and AD are kind of injury prone. I'm not injury prone, but they're kind of slower guys. I would have to say, I know everybody's saying Lakers, Nets, and I do agree with it. Both sides kind of have not injury-prone guys, but guys that get hurt easily. LeBron's been getting hurt easily the past 2 years, especially with the Lakers. Yep. AD's obviously been injury-prone. Russ has been injured a lot in the past couple of years. Same thing with Harden. Same thing with Kyrie and KD. Harden's been durable until this year with the hamstring issues, but obviously I think that'll be solved by then. But injuries do have a part. Yeah. I do have a hunch that like next year is going to be another. Hey, both of these teams will lose somebody major, and it's going to affect them getting to the finals or winning the championship.
Yeah,
that's just my thoughts.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Okay, I have a question for you guys because this happens all the time. Is this the best team LeBron will have ever had in terms of like the top 3? Because it's hard to say. We don't know what the Lakers roster is going to like look like.
Talent-wise, yes.
I would say this is the best team he's ever had, talent-wise. Which is amazing to me because continually, everybody always says, "Oh, he doesn't build these crazy stacked teams." Or all these teams in the past are like just as good, or blah blah blah. I could make an argument that talent-wise, LeBron's had big threes better than almost anyone ever. Just off of those, like Kyrie, Love, everybody shits on Love because they forget how great he was. He was, the leading rebounder and then top 5 in points per game, the previous 3 years, but whatever. And and then, Chris Bosh.
That wasn't as big as the Heat ones or this one. Yeah.
I don't disagree.
I don't really view that as a super team. It was kind of, it was kind of already.
Yeah, but that's the thing is right. People don't view it that way. But if you look at how stupidly good Kevin Love was and how ridiculously good Kyrie Irving was, because everybody acts like Kyrie couldn't bring the Cavs, the atrocious Cavaliers, to the playoffs, but they improved under his watch. They actually got better. Same with the Timberwolves, and the Timberwolves actually would have made the playoffs in the East. Right, but they just never did because they were always in the harder West. So that's my first question. You can think about it, leave it up for the fans. They can decide. Second thing is Caldwell, Pope, maybe, but especially Kuzma will have his best year next year. Next year will be his best year. And everybody's going to say, well, he's not playing with LeBron, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be partially because of that, but it's also going to be because he's going to have an established role, I think, or more of an established role on the Wizards, especially now that the Wizards just lost, Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
So, and given their injuries, I don't know if Thomas Bryant will be back. I don't know when he'll come back. Rui's development's been great. Burton's or they traded Burton's, right?
Did they?
I can't remember.
I don't think so.
Whatever. But, so I think he'll have a more defined role. So I think he could have a career year for him, which is not great. Third point, KD and LeBron will now be compared by these standards. If LeBron wins a championship, they will, I guarantee this will happen. I'm saying this right now. And you can write it down. I don't care. You can also write down my Kuzma take about that he'll have his best year as his career year. But if the Lakers win the title, immediately social media will start talking about how Kevin Durant could never do it with Russell Westbrook, and LeBron did it in his first year with Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
I'll bring it up on the podcast.
Fact that there are three top 10 players or 3 top 15, wherever you want to rate Russell Westbrook. Usually depends on how he's playing at a given time. But definitely 3 top 15 at the very least, 2 top 5 on his team. So everybody will ignore that. But this team's loaded. All right. So like you guys said, I think the Lakers could honestly sweep their way through the West given health. I mean, I don't see.
Yeah.
Like the Warriors, did the Warriors lose 1 game, or did they sweep their way through the West that 1 year? I can't remember.
You're talking about 2017. They lost 1 game. That was against the Spurs.
Oh, was it in the finals?
No, okay. It was against the Spurs.
So that team was loaded too. Don't get me wrong, but the problem is that you look at these other teams. Chris Paul's a year older. I think it's safe to say he's going to opt into the contract now, right? I think he would have been a better fit for the Lakers, but whatever. Suns, maybe a year more mature, Devin Booker and everybody, they'll be a little better. They don't stand a chance against a healthy Lakers team. I said this year they didn't stand a chance with just LeBron and AD. Now LeBron, AD, and Westbrook, it's a wrap. Nuggets, well, when's Jamal coming back? When's Jamal coming back? I mean, how will he play? They just don't have enough firepower. The Clippers, I think the Clippers give them a run for their money if Kawhi stays, which I predicted he will, so I'm going to stick by that. I think they would be the biggest test.
I really would like to see
test.
It. Yeah.
But here's the problem is the Clippers seem to struggle with other teams. The Clippers played really well against the Lakers. They have since they got LeBron, but like the Mavericks or the Nuggets or whatever, like why? Not that they can't beat them, but like the series just go a little longer. So
facts.
I think the Lakers could smoke everybody in the West. I don't even think it's almost even. It's like when the Warriors got KD. It's not even worth playing the season. It's almost that bad because this team is just that much better. Because they're gonna put more pieces around them. There's no way this is gonna be their finishing roster because as constructed, I don't think this team would be. I mean, just off the fact that they have those three guys, it would be good enough to get to the finals, but it could be a
Beating
lot
Brooklyn.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's for the reasons you said, spacing. All right. I think LeBron takes a backseat this year. I don't know if his ego will allow that because go on.
No, I was gonna say the ego thing. I feel like LeBron and Russ's egos are big questions.
Exactly. That's probably my biggest concern because they're both so ball dominant. And Westbrook, Zach, this might have been before your time, but Westbrook was the ball dominant player, the shot dominant player
but
on
he
the
wasn't.
Thunder.
But he wasn't the best player.
He
Apparently,
wasn't,
according to
but
you.
he still controlled everything. And that's how he's played his whole career, even on the Wizards. Now that's mostly because Kevin Durant's ego is not like LeBron's. So LeBron has a way bigger ego, in my opinion. So I don't know if he'd let Westbrook do that, but I think for the good of the team, he should, because I think LeBron would benefit from taking a kind of a step back this year. I know I'm rambling, but I'm trying to analyze that. Other than that, like LeBron is not a great shooter. Westbrook's a horrible shooter. I think he might be the worst shooter in the league by like qualified players. I can't remember, but he's definitely one of the worst. And then AD, the spacing with AD. Like AD is a spacer, but you kind of want him on the block ideally. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting, but to me, what you could end up seeing is instead of the 2 crown system that Kobe outlined that the all LeBron teams play, you could see a 3 crown system now, where it's really, really, really isolation basketball, like super insane. So I think that could happen, but Lakers are going to smoke the West.
You think?
And Zach,
yeah,
they're probably going to smoke whoever comes out of the East unless it's a healthy Brooklyn team.
Yeah. I don't know if
I would agree with you.
Health plays in the part with Lakers too, because they have.
No, I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys think? But, I was going to ask. You can finish your thought, Mohammed. I'll ask.
I was going to say, like, everybody thought Kyrie, Harden, and Durant wouldn't work because they're basically 3 guys that are really good one-on-one. But they made it work because they put their egos aside. You know, Kyrie said, "Hey, I'll be just the guard. I'll go be the go-to scorer. Harden, you can run the offense. Durant, just do what he do." I feel like the Lakers could do that too. So
I don't disagree.
I think the Nets thing is still up for debate. Until they're actually in the playoffs and in clutch moments in the playoffs. I don't think we can say that they have put their egos aside and they've done it and they've made.
Did you watch the first round against Boston, bro? I mean, I'm just saying, like, at least they had a few close games where, you know, KD was a guy. We talked about it in our chat. I remember, like, in those games where, like, Durant was atrocious in, like, one of the games, but he made, like, the final 4 baskets and they won or something. Like,
I remember that.
But to piggyback off what you said, we had seen previously with Durant, Harden, Kyrie to an extent that they could all step back and do it. I have never seen that with Russell Westbrook, ever. I've just never seen it happen. And I'm not saying he can't, because LeBron is LeBron, so he might have to.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying with those 2, I've never seen that kind of stuff happen. AD, I'm not really worried about AD. I think AD will take a step back, but I just thought of this now. Who is the third wheel?
It has to be Russ or LeBron, in my opinion. I think AD would be the best player, would be the go-to player for their, you know, go-to scoring. I think he's the most versatile player, so I definitely feel like AD is the number 1 choice on offense. I think it would low-key be LeBron number 2. So that leaves Russ at 3, which I think will be the real issue to see what happens with it. Because Russ, he could. Because he did the same thing with Harden. You know, the first half, like Zach said, first half of the season, Russ kind of plays bad. Then second half, remember before the league got shut down, Russ was putting up good numbers, was shooting well, was doing everything. Yeah. And then the league got shut down, and then the bubble happened. And, you know, they won 7 games with OKC, and Russ was out most of those games because of the quad injury. Comes against the Lakers, they win game 1. And games 2 through 5, the Lakers stepped back and said, "Russ, we're going to clog the paint, you shoot." And he became a non-factor in that series. So the spacing would be an issue if AD's the one that doing his work on the mid range and stuff like that. He's been an improved shooter, especially catch and shoot and all that.
Oh yeah.
But Russ his shooting is a problem, and I just feel like Russ and AD pick and roll, or Russ brings up the ball, controls the offense, will be good. So I guess I don't know. It feels like LeBron and Russ are gonna be switching off between 2 and 3. But I feel like Russ has to be the ball handler.
They have to, because Russ and LeBron are the same player, just different sizes, essentially. And Russell Westbrook's just a way worse shooter. But like they play the same exact style of basketball, bully ball down low. I mean, LeBron doesn't do the mid ranges, but kind of the same all around style.
Yeah.
And then have you guys seen the TikTok or YouTube video, or I don't know what it was on, but it was of the player. It was these dudes making fun of LeBron and Westbrook. They're like, LeBron and Westbrook when they both have 9 assists.
Yeah.
Oh,
you see that, and they're just
passing the ball back.
They keep passing up wide open shots the whole entire.
Yep.
I wonder.
Yeah,
I wonder how
RDC
that'll
World.
look.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some. There's definitely be some funny moments.
Yeah,
I've seen the one where the one with the Stephen A meme, and then it's photoshopped and there's LeBron and AD, and it's Russell Westbrook for 3, and they're both hella disappointed. It doesn't matter though. Kuzma and Pope wasn't making any damn shots anyway, but I don't know.
So I'd rather have a catch and shoot 3 for Kuzma, Pope than Russ. So
I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, that's gonna be funny.
Do you guys have any thoughts about the other small trades? I know the Grizzlies Pelicans trade. They sent Valanciunas to New Orleans. Right.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
They said Bledsoe, and it's kind of with the first big trade before Russ. So you guys have any thoughts on that?
I'm a big Jonas guy. I think Jonas is a very underrated, and I think Steven Adams is one of the most underrated big men too. So I like wherever they go. I think they can make a great impact wherever they go. So I think it's a win for both teams, but I don't know. We'll see.
Well, apparently they did it because New Orleans created salary cap space.
Oh, okay.
For any Lonzo deals coming their way.
Okay.
So at first I didn't agree with it because I felt Valanciunas he's younger than Steven, and I think he's a better center than him. So I didn't understand it.
I forgot to ask my question. Do you guys think Anthony Davis will average more rebounds next season because Russ will be shooting? Yeah, Russ will be shooting more.
Actually, no. Russ is old. Averaging 20 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. Like his numbers, it's gonna be. I don't know.
If he gets those numbers again, I'll be shocked.
I don't know.
If he gets those numbers again, AD's definitely gonna go down for sure.
It would be hilarious if they signed Drummond. Just be a fight every possession.
No, dude, they have to get rid of Drummond or else.
I know it would just be so funny.
They can't sign him.
I know, but
they can't keep him. No, literally, sure. I'm looking
I thought he might resign for the veteran minimum.
Here's why they got rid of the 3 players. I'm looking at salaries now. Now it makes sense. Holy crap! Oh my god. And he might. I mean, here's why they got rid of him, because Russ is getting paid $44 million next year, and Caldwell Pope, Kuzma, and Montrezl Harrell are the only other 3 players on the team making over $10 million. The only other 3. The rest of these guys are garbage bags. They make nothing, right?
Garbage guys are valuable.
They literally have.
Yes, sir.
I mean, in salary, let me just do some quick math here. It's 41, 44. So we got 80, 85 plus 35. It's 120 million. 120 million wrapped up in 3 guys. I don't know what the salary cap is for the Lakers, or for the league. I'm sorry, but it's got to be close. It's got to be pretty close, man. There's no way they can sign Drummond. They can't sign another. It's just going to be a roster full of role player, like veteran minimum players.
Which are still valuable.
100%. And they like I told you guys yesterday, which I didn't actually verify with you, but I'm sure you've seen it by now, that they might get Carmelo.
Oh yeah,
looking to sign Melo for min. I mean,
it depends if he comes off the bench or he starts.
Oh, here's the other thing: is if they don't keep Schroeder,
Oh right, yeah. I think
Oh
he's gone.
yeah, they could
that
trade
would
him, though,
change a
right?
lot.
They could trade him, right?
I don't think they. I don't think
Is
he's
he
a
a free
free.
agent?
Oh no, he is a free agent. He's a
Okay,
free
never
agent.
mind. Never mind.
Yeah, he isn't
Yeah.
gonna resign either. Yeah,
Yeah. So okay. So they don't
in my
resign
opinion.
him.
Yeah.
So that's about
I don't know if that's for sure. I just want to say that's my opinion. I don't think he's gonna resign, but
that's 16 million that they don't have to pay. But Russ put them 7 million or 8 million over what they were paying the other three guys. So they'd have about 8 million to work with. You could get some.
This is gonna be a real test though, because Russ has played with a lot of stars on his career, and a lot of people have criticized him because he has so many stars he played with, and he still hasn't won a championship. But I think he always stresses that he doesn't care about the stats, that he just wants to win a championship. Remember there was that one famous quote that always randomly pops into my mind when they're like, Russ, did you see the line? Did you see the stat line? He's like, I don't give a fuck about the line. We lost. And
I think he does care about his numbers.
Yeah, actions speak louder than words.
But
man.
this season will certainly be a true test, a final.
Yeah,
test,
this is the biggest test. I'm curious to see what he does.
If he can.
If he cares about winning, he's gonna look at this team and be like, "This is my absolute
best shot.
chance
Yeah, this
to
is
win.
Yeah.
All of my stats and my whole ego needs to go to the side because we will wipe the floor with everybody in the league if we do it right. There's nobody that's gonna even compete with them. And I'm looking at salaries, bro. This is it, bro. Because after this, you're starting to rack up like 150 million in those three players.
Yeah.
There's
always. Yep. This is it though. This is it's be interesting to see what happens.
Got to get it done.
Good luck to those teams.
I do have to say some.
Must be nice to have super teams just pop up in your city.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I have to say one thing before we log off, though.
Might be happening. Lonzo might be happening. I don't know.
No,
Levine, Vucevic, and Lonzo.
I wouldn't call it a super team. It's gonna be interesting because the Spurs are one of the teams interested in Laurie. So and DeMar to the Bulls has been reported a lot.
Right.
So they might get DeMar instead of Lonzo, which I'd be fine with too.
I was just gonna ask you, would they still get Lonzo considering drafting AO?
I don't know.
That's true.
Because now you have Kobe, Zach LaVine, AO. That's kind of
I think AO comes off the bench. I think. Well, you know how people are saying like if Lonzo comes to the Bulls, it would make Kobe a sixth man because obviously Lonzo would start over him. So I feel like if they don't get Lonzo, I feel like Kobe would start, and then they would have Ayo come off the bench. But then if they start DeMar via sign and trade with Laurie, it would be basically DeMar, Levine, Pat Williams, Thaddeus, and then.
Oh, I didn't even mention Pat Williams. So it almost doesn't make sense unless they can put egos aside and be like, I'm here to develop.
Egos shouldn't be a problem with Kobe, especially after that not atrocious, but he struggled last season. So
I'm not disagreeing, man. Okay. I'm just saying, sometimes out of nowhere, some players are like, "Man,
I'm not saying we have to do that. I'm just saying,
bro,
I'm not
stop
saying
coming at me, bro. Why are you attacking me tonight?
I'm not saying we have to do that. I'm just saying we should do that.
Oh my god! Can I say what I needed to say before we log off?
Darn diggity dog. You want to throw the 45-year-old phrases
Olympic, shoot, I was actually looking at that today. I forgot.
Darn diggity dog.
Lickety split or
lickety split.
Lickety split. Yeah. Team USA's Olympic men's basketball team is on the shoulders of Bam and Tatum.
Oh my god!
If they lose, it's on Bam and Tatum.
It's on Durant.
It's
on Bam and Tatum.
Cut the show, please.
It's on Bam and Tatum. All right.
YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all that. Thanks for tuning in. This is season 2. Actually, we're starting
season 2. Let's go.
Starting like a new season. This is still episode 26 overall, though. So we're still gonna put that on all the episodes. But this is technically season 2. Heading into the next one. We'll see what happens with these trades. Interesting. Appreciate all y'all. Another episode.
Here we go.
Erling Haaland will sign with Chelsea by this week.
Wow.
Or next week. By next episode, Erling Haaland will be with Chelsea.
Okay.
Just letting y'all know.
Peace.
Italia. Peace.